Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And once again, we are in the new Chamber of Memories and Contracts event that came out for the start of the 2-year anniversary, and we are going back into the Chamber of Truth. Now, we've had a few updates to the stage so far, but I would say that the first stage is probably the most limiting. The other two stages, there are more than a few teams that can clear this. The Chamber of Truth is just, it's kind of out there, because he has just so much HP that realistically, the only proper team that can actually do that much damage is the Light 3.0 team, which is the team that you're supposed to use against him. However, continuing the world tour, because it just never ends, is Vengeance. Now, the Vengeance meta is an EX meta, and this is the no EX characters in your unit. However, we do have access to one of them. Free-to-play Yome is a Vengeance character. So, with the help of one of the longtime subscribers, Bendaboss, he gave me this team to use, and it was fairly successful. So we have this team, and it is a very, very how do we want to put this? A very turtley team. All right, so we've got Earth Protector Benimaru, who generally is not really looked at very often as far as protectors are concerned, but he is, the basis that Velzard was built upon, because Benimaru resets skill costs, and, he only does it for the front line, unlike Velzard, who does it for the back line as well. So he's inferior to her in that way. He gives guaranteed counterattacks, which are not as good as Vengeance counterattacks, but it is, tiny, tiny tidbits of damage here and there. And he also gives you that extra 250% skill points on green orbs, just like Velzard does. So he can function almost the same way. But the most important thing is skill points on greens and resetting skill cost. And since we have Yome, who can apply Vengeance, we can, in theory, get a decent amount of Vengeance stacks towards the end of the fight. Now, this is a very, very long fight. It's like 23 friggin' turns or something. So it is not the fastest thing. It will take you a while. And it does require a few different things. So we have free-to-play Yome, free-to-play Isis, and free-to-play Eren. All three of them are orb changers. Isis is doing blue orbs alongside Yome, but she also has that 50% green gauge buff, which will be fairly important as far as cycling Protector Benimaru over and over again. Yome has the Vengeance. He also has the physical resistance, which this Diablo is physical, so that will save us some damage. Now, the harder parts for people to have are Lumi and Trainee, because both of them are skill fused, which means our heal is cheaper on Lumi, and our debuff skill for Trainee is a hell of a lot better than just pierce power down, because Diablo doesn't, I don't think he pierces, but it cuts the ult damage in half, which is the more important thing. So I don't know if you can do this without them skill fused. I think that cutting the ult damage, it's like, once you get up there, it's like 10k a hit or something, and you can't really take a lot of those. But we're going to have this go at like 1.5 speed, because it's such a long-ass fight. But it's built for turn 1 double green to blue orb change, but we don't have that. So we're just going to send the blues and pray for a good turn on turn 2, which thankfully we kind of get. Yeah, we get. So we can use both orb changes here from Isis and Eren, and then we can use Benimaru to reset those skills. And that will give us guaranteed counters, which I guess is cool. But more importantly, it will give us max points. So the entire thing here is get as many points as possible, as many protectors as possible, and put as many stacks as you can of Vengeance on this poor bastard. Now, one other unfortunate thing is that greens are actually nerfed on this stage, which doesn't help. I mean, we can kind of go around that. Like, we have a lot of orb changing, as you saw. We use the green buff. We put 3 stacks of Vengeance on. Those don't kick in until turn 5, and even then, it's like 3 stacks. doesn't do a whole lot. You got to get like 30 plus for it to really, really do some decent damage. But after turn 8, Diablo starts to heal every couple turns, and you're not guaranteed to kill Diablo on turn 8 with Vengeance. It just doesn't do enough because you haven't stacked enough. So it's going to take you a long while. So he's going to heal back a lot of what Vengeance does, and you just have to eventually whittle him down so you can overcome his heal in a couple turns. Because it doesn't heal every turn. He heals like every 3 or 4 turns or something like that. So it's... You just have to cut through it with the Vengeance, and you just have to keep on keeping on with it until he eventually just dies from it. But again, it takes a long time. So you need a lot of orb changes, a lot of healing, because he starts he starts to stack up his dark attack and everything, and eventually he does more damage than what he's doing to you right here. So he does Vengeance does what, 30k right there? He has 1.6 million HP. 30k is not gonna cut it. But we can continue to stack, so now we have 9 stacks. Okay, cool. We need 30 more. But this team can do it. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, you could bring Albus, the free-to-play Protector Albus, and I guess that would be more guaranteed stacks, but without the resetting of the skill costs, you really won't be able to use Yom that much, or realistically any skill, because they're gonna just get way out of hand, and everything's gonna cost 100 by the time you're done with it. So there's no real way to guarantee you get more Albus protectors, because she only lasts for 1 turn as well. So I don't really recommend going that way. If you have Benimaru, then I would just bring him. I mean, I guess you could also try and bring Dark Protector Veldora, because he also does reset skill costs. He doesn't give you that massive green buff, but he allows you to have more points overall to hold in the back. So in theory, you could keep everything cheap and then keep, every single turn you have unnerfed greens, you get 150 something points, and you stack those up over and over and over again. I guess you could do that. And the magic damage really... I mean, it would, but it wouldn't apply here. It's really a drop in the bucket. None of these characters are damaging. This is a defensive team, so giving them more DPS really means nothing. But there's this heal. We're on turn 8. We have 12 stacks, right? We're already on turn 8, and he has full HP. So this right here is very telling of you're gonna be here for a while. So go ahead, and every time you can, after you use Vengeance, pop Benimaru as much as you can. That way you can reapply it. Keep everybody topped up on HP, because that's very important, because after this he starts to hit you fairly hard. But we really haven't changed out the units that much, because we've been running on having 3 orb changers up front and a healer, so it's very versatile as far as conversions are concerned. 88k now on the Vengeance at 15 stacks. It's still not cutting it. But once we get past turn 15 or something, we do need to swap out Valentine for Trainee, because her heal is bigger, and when he starts to ult you, it does start to hurt quite a bit, and you want to make sure that you can cut that down, because Trainees, her ult resistance buff lasts for 3 turns, so you could apply it early if you know when the nuke is coming, and then just have it. It's only 15 points, and you can reset it, so it's not that big of a deal. But right here, turn 11, everyone's kind of low, so we're going to heal up a little bit. We're going to swap, I think, Lumi out of here, or maybe we swap Aaron. I can't remember, because I recorded this 4 days ago. Okay, Aaron comes out. We're going to put the debuff on, or buff and debuff on. So now we'll take 50% less damage from the ult. We also healed up a bit more, or we're not going to heal, but we put Vengeance on, right? There we go. And then we're going to orb change to give us, I think, a full hand of greens. Almost. But they're the Benimaru buffed ones, so they'll give us a lot of points. So counters are also not what you want to take once he starts really ramping up his damage. But here, the ult does 4,800, alright? That would have done, almost 10k, which is a third of our HP. So really having that buff on does increase your survivability by quite a bit. So that's why Trainee is fairly important with her skill fusion. And it's still active for another couple turns. We don't need to use it again for another 3 turns or something. But the fact that it does last is cool, and it does cut down his pierce damage if he happens to naturally pierce you, which is possible. But realistically, it's there for that. So now I think we're going to run permanently with Trainee up front and Lumi, so we have double healing potential. Unless this happens where we get a terrible hand. But okay, the Vengeance is doing okay damage. Okay, there's a heal. And I think we swap, her out for Aaron, and then we have enough points to get a full hand? Yes, we do. Or we're going to bring Isis in. Okay, so we're going to use Isis Orb Change because it gives us gauge increase on everything, rather than Yome's, which only gives alt gauge increase on greens, which we don't really want here. I really don't want alts. Like, we're getting them, obviously, but I don't want them, because I would much rather have full hands of greens to guarantee we get more protection gauge, more points, which, I mean, are not hard to come by on this team, but definitely is something. I'm sorry if you hear that beeping. It means my other videos are done rendering. But we're on turn 13, right? It's a long fight, so you really got to settle in for a thing. But here, look at that. Lumi's down to half HP already, and we're gonna take a lot more damage. I think we swap Aaron out again. Okay, we reset everything, all those orbs, and okay, maybe we just use this. Okay, so we're gonna run with it, and we're gonna pray that he doesn't hit Lumi like 4 times or something, because that would definitely be quite unfortunate. All right, yeah, crit counters right there, not what we want. Not what you want to see here. Random Pierce, cool. All right, he healed back all his health again. 1, 2. Thank God he didn't hit her a third time. 187k Vengeance with how many stacks? How many stacks do I have? 24? Still not enough. It's still not enough. Turn 15. 24 stacks of Vengeance. It's still not enough. Alright, so 3 more stacks of Vengeance. Aaron does have the crit resistance buff, which also can cut down your damage a bit, technically. It doesn't do that much, but here we're going to apply the alt buff early. That way it's active for when Diablo does happen to alt, and because we have enough points for it, and we're going to make it all back anyways with this full hand of greens. So there's no point in not using it right now and just having it active, because I think after this turn he gives himself the alt. No. Okay, so it's the next turn. So, I mean, now Vengeance is starting to take off decent chunks of health at 30 stacks on turn 16. So, again, and then sometimes you can get some terrible hands like this, where I think at this point the greens are no longer nerfed, so you don't really have to worry about that as much. 174? Or was that 147? I can't remember. The important thing is that he has his alt, but we still have one more turn of the alt resistance because we put it on early. So we don't have to worry that much about his alt coming in. It's still gonna hurt, don't get me wrong. But we'll put the physical resistance from the Vengeance back on, so 33 stacks. That'll cut down our damage even more. 15.5k on Trainee, awesome. 12k on the AoE from Yome. It doesn't matter. All that matters is Vengeance. And how much does he hit for now? 5,400. So it's gone up. His damage did go up from the last time I actually talked about it, which was 4,800 damage. So it has gone up, but we still were able to cut it down, and we still have a bunch of healing. Now, the charm that I have on Benimaru is extra protection gauge on greens. You could very easily put like a heal charm on, and you could just, give yourself that extra little bit of comfort. Because once you get past turn 8, turn 9 or somewhere, and the greens are no longer nerfed, you'll get protection gauge quite a bit, just from multiple hands of green orbs. And I don't think it'll be too hard of a problem, and it'll just give you that extra little safety net for keeping your units healed up. Okay, Aaron's damage is pathetic. Yome isn't really much better, but he's down low, right? He's down to, a third or quarter HP. A super counter comes in, haven't seen one of those in a while, and we got another one. 2 super counters, and then normal because we got Benimaru. But 200k Vengeance right there. He's almost there. We're getting very low on HP though. He's starting to hit very hard because he continually stacks up his dark attack over and over and over, and he hits you multiple times a turn. So now it's like, now I'm kind of getting worried. On turn 20, he's gonna heal sometime soon. It's not great. At least I think he's gonna heal sometime soon. And we're starting to get a little bit lower in HP, where we're not able to maintain full capacity. There will be some people that would say you could bring a guard unit or something like Light Shizu, with her single target heal and her guaranteed guard, or 80% chance to guard, but that is also coming off a skill fusion, so you still need her. Alright, he healed almost 500k damage right there. Almost 500k. And we're doing 205 on 36 stacks, so we're not quite doing half of this heal still. It's not great, but we'll put another stack on, another full hand of greens, that'll give us another protector, so next turn we can reset, put another stack of vengeance on, and we'll just keep plugging along. Alright, Yome's getting kind of low. I don't really like that. Alright, 4 attacks per, 222 right there. And I'm fairly certain that as long as we can live this turn, because we're going to apply another stack of vengeance, if he doesn't heal, we have won. But, and we're pretty good on HP again, right? He's not ulting, so we're going to send it, and we're going to pray that we do enough damage to kill him at 42 stacks on turn 22. 15k right there. He does get his ult now. Alright. 240, and he is a nut tap away. He has 2,400 health, and he didn't die. This stupid motherfucker. But now, I mean, as long as we can get our health back up, we can put the debuff and the buff on from Trainee, we will live. Or we didn't. We just put the physical resistance and another stack of vengeance on. So we have, the game, it's over, right? We're going to kill on this right here. So it took 23 turns to do this, and it is not quick, obviously. No one really wants to be stuck in a stage for 23 turns. But this does further my point that vengeance is the best meta that has ever come into this game ever. Because no matter what, as long as you can use some semblance of a vengeance team, even if it's only one unit, you can kill everything in the game. It just takes a long-ass time. But you win. That's the whole point. I don't care how you got there. You won. You got the rewards. Maybe you didn't get all the rewards because you were on 23 turns instead of, 12 turns or something like that, whatever that mission is. But still, you have cleared the stage. And nobody's dead, at least in this run. And maybe your run maybe look a little different if you don't have level 120s and 100s and skill fusions across the board. But, I mean, it's definitely something you can at least attempt. And maybe you clear it. Maybe you don't. But again, this is like a high difficulty stage. It's meant for endgame players to get EX shards. It's not something new players are going to come in and just fucking mollywop, because it's not that kind of event. There's a hard population limit to even get in. And that's 120k population is going to take you a hot minute. So that is the Vengeance team for the Chamber of Truth. Thank you once again to Bendaboss for giving me this team. Let me know what you guys think, but that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.